Hi everyone, roasting to Monaco. We're starting to get a little bit busy now. We've got a couple of uni students doing their thing, and let's have a listen.
All you get. Let me hit you with that right now. Do you know the difference between a scientific law and a theoretical?
Yeah.
So theory relies on math. Yeah. And the law is you can't change that, right?
Yeah.
There is something called the law of thermodynamics, entropy, So, we have an example here of entropy, right here. I don't smoke, but I carry this around.
For this temperature?
Well, that and I use it to light candles. Pressurized gas within a container, So, release it, and that gas slowly goes away, and then I have to refill it, Now, with the Earth, we can't refill it, and we breathe in pressurized gas.
We do.
So, there you go, there's your moon gone, there's your ISS gone, there's your space, there's your satellites in space gone.
I agree with everything,
Everything's all
but
gone.
I'm lost after that. So, we breathe pressurized air. Why then is all of this gone? Why explain that, John?
We have to be in the enclosed system,
We do have to,
Yeah, so this has to be, it's enclosed,
100%,
Yeah, because if this was the Earth,
If it was open, it'd just evaporate.
it would just go away, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
we wouldn't have any air to breathe.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't agree with that. Do you know why? Gravity. Gravity pulls down the air.
Remember theories?
Theory of
and
gravity. You
laws?
forgot the word. The theory of gravity.
You don't believe in gravity?
Of course not. It's a theory.
Here's my disproof of gravity in
me.
one go, right?
Hit me.
I am an advanced open water diver, qualified. Yeah, that means
We
I can
spoke about
dive.
last time.
I can,
Yeah.
So
That's what
to
you
go,
saw.
right, and to go when I go down,
Yep.
I need to put on a weight belt. Yeah, because suddenly gravity doesn't work on me. Yeah.
What, in
and I need
buoyancy?
extra weight to take me down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if it was gravity, I wouldn't need to put that on.
Well, no, not necessarily, right? Because currently we're in air, so you have more mass than the air around you, so you displace as you sink.
Yeah.
Whereas in water, I'm not a scientist right here.
In water.
But, surely, but you need additional weight to bring you down, right?
Because of the
Buoyancy.
exactly
Right.
buoyancy and density.
Not gravity.
It's almost like this.
Gravity.
Before
No
the apple
gravity.
hit on Newton's head,
Right
was
there.
it a mystery why things fell down?
No, we've got even to the Greeks. They're kind of aware of gravity. They just know how to scientifically express it. So we know of gravity. It was only until the apple on the head thing, which probably didn't even happen. It's more of that's an
I
anecdote.
think someone just threw it at him.
Maybe. Maybe it was like you guys who
I
threw
mean,
out.
I'm going to phone about if I ever figure out a way to time travel, I'm going to go back and throw that damn apple where it's
It's going to be a watermelon.
Or a brick or something, maybe.
Get that fucking
I'm still not convinced, but I'll be back next time, okay? Great to talk to you.
Oh man. Hey, have you hey mate, have you
I don't want to get his bum. Hi, how you doing? Good.
It's like a spotlight. When it's over it,
Have to, man.
I'm fine. They're all made up by natural gas. Smaller and clouds and antennas.
Hi.
Hello.
These people are worse than the religious people.
We are.
Yeah.
Oh, you're part of these
You can
people?
imagine it.
I
It
am
makes
my
more
own
sense.
being,
Okay.
but I do
More
agree with
sense.
some of the things that
What do
they
you
say.
agree with?
On a flat
What do I
plate.
agree with? I don't
The
believe
air
that we're on a
currents, the more you
spinning
look
board.
into it, the air currents as well.
And all
It
sides
knows
are
it. It's
lying
like
to
the
us.
weather when he comes on and tells you.
Well,
there's
the
gonna be
ones
gale
that are
force winds
theories
coming
with no
in,
actual
5, 6
proof.
hours time, right? Gale force winds coming in. And you might get it right.
Awesome, Google. We've all got that. Yes, and that is a rendering. That isn't a real photograph.
I see. Was that rendered from what? What was it rendered from?
It's all CGI. So basically, they've taken several different photographs
From
of
where?
what the planet looks like.
From what? Where were the photographs taken from?
I believe lower Earth orbit.
From orbit.
Lower Earth orbit, yes.
Okay. So if that's a rendering of a photograph, the photograph's
It is a
around as
rendering
well.
of a photograph.
If it
Even the
was- no,
person
I'm
that
not-
created it
If that was
saying
true, if I can
it
see that,
is.
I don't know if it is, but if that was rendered, is that rendered from a photograph that shows the Earth being round anyway, or is it shown flat?
It's showing whatever they want you to see.
So what do you think they was? What do you think was? If you're so, if you guys are so
I'm not
clever,
sure about anything, and that is
clearly
the
you're
point.
not sure about anything because science tells us the
There's no
answer
need
these
to be
questions.
rude.
Well, okay, I apologise.
If you
for being
came
rude.
to me, you made a statement, and I
Okay.
said what like myself. So there is no need to be rude, is
Okay, I
there?
apologise if I was rude.
Thank you.
Now, you claim that this is rendered from the photograph. The photographs are
I
taken
do
from Earth
claim that
orbit.
that is rendered from
What
a
do you think the
photograph
photograph
because the
shows?
person who created that rendering said that it's a rendering.
Who's the person that created that rendering? But believe me, there's hundreds
What's
of
the
these.
name of the person that renders all these photographs? I
Oh,
can't remember.
Robert Simmons.
Thank
You're saying
you.
there's one person that does all the photographs.
He is the one that says that he creates these photographs out of CGI, yes.
does he believe
Because
it?
it's not a photograph, is it? If it's not an actual one picture of one thing.
This is a photograph.
SCGI.
It's not a photograph.
This is a-
Photoshop.
If I stood here and took a photograph of you,
Sorry?
then that would be a
If what,
photograph.
sorry? If what?
If I took a photograph of you now,
yep.
then that would be a photograph.
That's correct.
That's right. If I went into it and then photoshopped it, jiggled it around, it no longer is a true representation of the photograph.
I agree.
It's an image.
It becomes an image.
Okay, so what's this? This one. One of the most famous photos ever taken. What is that? Is that a
image.
photograph or an image?
Awesome.
Image.
I love that
If
image.
you
It's
take
great.
that into Photoshop and you raise the levels, you can see that's been put on there.
What's been put on there?
The
Earth been
bit
put
at
on
the-
So what they've done, what you're saying
So
to
these
me
were
is
taken
you
by Apollo
accept.
8 and Apollo 11 in 1968 and 1969 respectively. They took photographs of the Earth from space. And in fact, I was watching in 1968 when they had the camera out the window and you could see the Earth in the distance.
Uh-huh.
This was taken by Apollo 8.
You should
And
have a-
you're saying that they faked the photo?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I say
And
that
your evidence for that
fake
is?
space.
Have you ever seen
Do you
the?
believe space exists?
Have you ever seen
No.
the documentary?
Not at all.
What are stars? What are stars?
Lights in the sky.
Is the sun a star?
The sun is a light source that gives
Yes, it
heat.
is. That's not the stars.
And the
Science
moon
says the
is
sun
also
is the star.
another light
That's
source.
not. It's also, the moon does not create light.
Doesn't it?
It reflects light. That's why I see
Okay.
you. Do you create light?
So
yourself?
is that why
Let me ask you, do
the
you create light?
moonshine
In the skin?
is colder than the shadow?
I don't know what that means. What do you mean moonshine is called?
The glare, what you're saying is the reflection from the sun
Yes.
is colder than the shadow.
Older than the shadow.
Colder, yes,
The moon
which is
gives off a
measurable,
cooler
repeatable.
light. The moon gives off a cool
What's a
light.
cool light? I don't understand what a cool light
It means
is.
it's cooler than the right. Under normally under say right in the moonlight. If you take the temperature in the moonlight, you find that it's slightly cooler than in the shade. Whereas it's the opposite.
What do you mean, on the moon itself? Or where?
No, we're here on Earth.
If you take the temperature here,
Take the temperature of what? The moonlight?
Yes.
yeah, if you
I don't believe we can take the temperature of moonlight from Earth. How do we take the
well,
temperature
we can
of
take
moonlight?
the
How can we do
temperature
that?
of the air around us. And
Yeah,
it's-
but that comes from the sun. The sun gives us a lot more energy than the moon. So how do we isolate what's from the moon?
how do we isolate it?
Yeah, you said that.
Well, you can get
You
these
said the temp- you know the,
thermometers
you said
to-
you know the temperature of the moon, right?
No, we're talking about the moonlight. In
Correct,
the moonlight,
correct.
the temperature here on Earth
Yes.
tends to be lighter.
How do they measure that?
Well, we get a thermometer.
Yep. Okay. I hold a thermometer up. Almost all of the
I'm
energy
not
it will
measuring.
reflect comes from the
I'm not
sun.
measuring the temperature of the moon. I'm measuring the temperature
That's correct.
here.
That's correct. So how do you isolate what's coming from the moon?
Well, what I'm isolating is the fact that when I'm in the light, I've got it cooler, and when I'm in the shade, I've got it warmer.
What do you mean you're in the shade? You mean
The part that does not have moonshine.
I'm not sure what moonshine is. When it's
What
dark
you
here-
are
when
suggesting
it's
is the
dark here-
reflection of what is the light
At
of the
night,
reflection
yes,
of the
correct.
moon.
The moon is reflecting the sunlight at night.
Yeah.
That's
So
why-
the
that's why the Earth goes
moonshine,
away.
which is
That's
the
why.
reflection, what you say.
You know what makes me disbelieve that? What makes me
What makes
disbelieve
you believe that?
space?
What?
Entropy.
Well, let's not talk about entropy for a minute, because you obviously don't know what that means. I do, but you don't. Okay, now, do you know why that's only half a
Right, you
sphere?
do.
It's true, because I've studied science. I've studied physics. Have you studied physics?
Yes.
Oh, really? At what level?
Yeah.
High school?
Well, I went just
I've done
beyond high
university
school.
physics,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I didn't. I decided not to take it there because I saw a
So
load
what's
of
entropy?
nonsense.
What is entropy?
Thermodynamics, second law of
Which is
where, so for us to have, for example, pressurized gas, that pressurized gas needs to be contained.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So we
That's not what
breathe
the second law of
pressurized,
thermodynamics is,
but we breathe pressurized air, right?
Yes, we do.
Right. So
Well, it's pressurized in the sense that there's air pressure, yeah.
Yeah, so we got air pressure. So if we got the air pressure going off, then we can't have an open system, can we? And therefore,
I know what you mean by open system. Do you believe we have an atmosphere? Are we breathing air at the moment?
yeah, of course.
So what keeps the air on the planet as opposed to just disappearing into space? Well, you don't believe space exists, so
Well,
that makes
no,
it hard. But
for that reason.
why?
Well, you can't have a vacuum next to a pressurized system.
Yes, you can.
Really?
That's what gravity does. That's why.
Gravity? A theory.
Well, the fact that I'm standing on the Earth is a pretty good observation of that theory.
Yeah, but before the theory of gravity, there was buoyancy and density there.
By whom? Well, when you say before gravity, okay, gravity. Newton talked about gravity in 1660, right?
Yeah.
So you're talking about the pre-scientific age. Now, if you're saying that all the developments in the last 350 years post-Newton
So there was no.
that should be replaced by what was before Newton, I would say that's a bit silly, isn't it? Because that's suggesting that all the last 350 years has been wrong, and that what was before Newton is correct.
No, what we're suggesting is that all the theoretical stuff is going a bit haywire, isn't it? Why does
Physical
gravity
laws-
fail when I go diving?
Why does gravity fail? Gravity doesn't fail when you go diving.
Does it? Why do I need to put on an extra weight belt?
You know why? Buoyancy. You know what
Exactly.
And do you know what buoyancy is?
There we go.
Buoyancy is an expression of gravity. Buoyancy comes from
No,
gravity.
it's not. It's
It
got
does.
nothing to do with
Have you heard of Archimedes' principle?
I've heard of the
Okay.
nonsense. Yeah.
What happens is when you go diving, okay,
So all
Archimedes' principle says when you're in the water,
Yeah.
there's an upforce called a buoyancy, right? When you're in water, there's actually it's in air as well. We'll go into that in a moment. There's a buoyancy. There's a thing called buoyancy, which you guys love to talk about.
Yeah.
What it says is that the force up when you're in water is equal to the weight of the water that you displace. So when you're in the water, your body displaces an equal shape of water. The weight of that water is the upthrust. So therefore, and Archimedes discovered this 2,000 years ago, and it explains perfectly what happens when you're in water. It's because what is happening is that, as opposed to if you're in a vacuum, you'll fall according to gravity at the speed at a g, right? If you're not in a vacuum, if you're in a fluid such as water, there's gravity still pushes you down, but you've got an upthrust. So if, for example, the weight of the displaced water is greater than your weight, if it's more dense than you are, then you will float. If you're more dense than the water, you will fall, because the upthrust will be less than the downthrust, which is your weight from your mass. That's what buoyancy does. It uses
But I
gravity.
thought with
Buoyancy is
gravity there
explained-
is no up and down.
Sorry?
Within gravity, because people are upside down, aren't they, in the southern hemisphere? So, of course they are.
Yeah, but we're upside down compared to them. There is no up and down, as you said. Up and down for us is we call up away from the earth and down towards the centre of the earth. Right? Now you just said to me the people in the southern hemisphere are upside down, right? You said that.
So they say, yeah. If
I was about to say
gravity, yes.
that opposes your whole flat Earth society. But
Not
you're
at
saying-
all, because
why?
I'm not saying that's what I believe that people in the southern
Well, I thought I'd caught you
hemisphere
out
are
there, because you
upside
were
down.
saying they were upside down, which is to say yes.
No,
we
no,
live
no.
in
I
a
said
sphere.
in relation to gravity. That's what you were saying, that
Yeah.
they would be upside down.
But the fact of the matter, gravity always operates towards the centre of the Earth. So if we are on a sphere, which I know we are, but you don't, if we're on a sphere, the people in Australia, and I come from Australia, are upside down compared to us. That's true. They're being pulled into the centre of the Earth, as are we.
Okay.
And from their perspective, if they're having the same conversation right now in Australia as we're having here, they're saying, oh, we're the right way up, and the people in England are upside down. But it's all relative. We're all being drawn to the centre of the Earth by gravity. That's
So
what
the
gravity
North
does.
Pole isn't at the top of the globe.
Well, we can no.
So this gravity
We
is
call
very
that
magical.
because the Earth is
It
spinning
really
on an
is,
axis, right? It's not magical. We understand what causes it. Einstein explained it. It's a curvature of space-time.
Yeah, no, he explained, he theorised on it. That's what he done. That's why gravity is still a theory. Because
Well,
it doesn't meet, it
to
doesn't
that extent,
actually
to that
meet
extent,
the
one could say that
scientific
all of
method,
science
does
is a
it?
theory, right? All of science is a
No,
theory.
it's not.
So what's the fact? What's the fact that you say?
The
is-
scientific laws
Like what?
are facts, aren't they?
Like what?
like
Give me-
entropy,
okay.
like thermodynamics.
Okay. So you
all
agree
of that?
they're called laws because they're accepted as being observed in all situations.
Yeah, that
Einstein's
means
theory.
that they meet the scientific method, isn't it?
Correct. So does Einstein's theory. It explains.
No, it doesn't.
It
It's a
explains.
theory. It only works mathematically.
What's the difference between a theory and a law?
The fact that theories do not meet the scientific method. They only
That is
work
not true
with
at all.
numbers.
That is
they
not true
work
at all.
with numbers.
You clearly don't
So
understand what theories mean. All that happens is a theory
magic
becomes a law.
It's magical
Theory be-
numbers.
let me
That's
finish.
all it is.
Theory becomes a law when enough scientists say there's no room for doubt whatever about this
No,
any
it's
longer.
when it's when you can
And
actually
there's-
measure it.
We can measure gravity.
No, we can't. That's why it doesn't meet the scientific method. That is why
If
it's
I
a
drop this
theory.
calculator, do you know how fast that falls?
It will fall.
9.8 meters per second per second. Why? Because that's the acceleration due to gravity.
No,
It
that's
happens
the
every-
acceleration due to its mass.
Do you believe levitation is possible? Do you believe somebody can levitate in the park?
You can get something to levitate using electromagnetism.
Of course you can. But that's
you can.
but that of course. But
With
that's using a magnetic field to
Yeah.
oppose the gravitational field. And
No, it's not.
electromagnetism
Gravity is
more
still
powerful.
fantasy. Still a fantasy.
Well.
It's only numbers. That's all it is.
Well, you could just say all of science is only numbers. I'm a mathematician by
It's
training.
not.
Everything's only numbers.
All of science isn't. There's plenty of science
The law of
which
thermodynamics
isn't
is
numbers, which
everything
isn't
is,
fantasy.
all of physics is based by numbers.
No, not all
that
of
was,
it.
That was the revolution
Not-
that Newton came
not
up
all
with.
of it.
In the Greeks, the reason the Greeks never advanced their
Newton was
science
a
is because the
fluke.
Greeks used to look at the world and try to theorize the world without doing any experiments whatever. Newton and Galileo were the first people to act in the West, at least. The first people to try to use
There was loads of
mathematics
people-
to describe the
there
way
was
the
loads
world
of people
works.
using natural science long before them.
Yeah, and it wasn't very successful, was it?
They were very successful.
Which ones were very successful? Name some very successful scientists before Newton. Just give me a couple. See, you can't. Because all the successful science happened after Newton, because Galileo, then Newton, who was born in the year that Galileo died, were the first people to try to work out theoretical mathematical models for how the world works. Of course, Copernicus had a model about this Earth to be the centre of the universe. The church used to teach that the Earth was the centre of the universe. We know that's not true. We know the Earth goes around the sun. That's why we have cold. Why are we cold at the moment?
Excuse
Why,
me.
what explains winter?
Exactly what experiment proves that?
We can observe what's going on.
No, what I observe,
Why does- what do you have
I
seasons?
observe
Why are we
is
cold
the
now?
sun and moon going around me and the stars going around.
Yeah, and
that's
because-
what I
and because
observe.
that's what-
I don't observe myself going around them
with
at all.
respect, that's what people observed 10,000 years ago in the pre-Soviet
Yeah,
age,
and they
and that's
still-
why they had no science. We have to go
They
beyond
had
what we
plenty
just.
of science.
We have to go beyond
They
what we
built
can just
better
see go across the
buildings
sky.
than we do now.
Huh?
I think they were a lot more smarter than we are now.
That's not
actually.
true.
Really?
They have computers, that have cars, that have aeroplanes.
Exactly. What does that prove?
That proves that we're smart.
They built buildings that could withstand a lot longer than what we can
That's
in
not
this
true at
day and
all.
age.
That's not true at
We're
all.
lucky for one of our buildings to last more than 50 years now.
that right?
Where they had buildings that were lasting hundreds
The
of
World
years.
Trade Center was built in
Look at
1972. The reason it
pyramids.
fell is because of a
Look
big
at
plane.
the pyramids.
Yeah.
The pyramids, how long they've been standing. And they're
Okay.
still standing to this day.
Are you saying we couldn't build something like that today?
No, we can't. We're rubbish these days because we're relying on.
Well, I see. Now we're a lot clever than we are.
nonsense.
You know, we build cars, we build aeroplanes, we build computers. I mean, we build supercomputers. We do all sorts of wonderful things. Yet we're not as smart as the guys that put rocks on top of each other. That makes a big
Yeah,
theory
they
to
were
me.
a lot smarter. Yeah, because they managed to align it to the stars. and
You're
we
going back to
couldn't
this
do that.
mythical stage. What we're discussing, you're saying you look at the sun go across the sky.
I'm
so
going,
you're
going
convinced the
back
sun's
to a
moving.
time when they were a lot smarter than
No,
we are now.
they were a lot more
and they
ignorant,
had
and there's
technology
consequences.
that we can only dream
Such
of.
as?
Stuff that we can't even access now.
What was the technology that they had in the time of the Greeks and the Romans and the Egyptians that we don't have now?
Oh, those.
Because I can give you, I can spend the next
plenty
hour
of-
telling you the technology we have that they don't have.
They were using free energy, weren't they?
Free energy.
Yeah.
There's no such
Some-
thing. I thought you said
Really?
you believe in the law of thermodynamics. Have you heard of conservation of momentum? Have you heard of conservation of energy? There's no such thing as free energy.
Yeah, there is. Electromagnetism gives you plenty of free energy.
Oh, really? Where does it come from? How do you invent energy?
Well, let me see.
Where
What do you
do-
need?
where
A
does it
perpetual.
Yeah,
you
there's no
need a
such thing as
perpetual
perpetual
motion.
motion. There is no such
Isn't
thing as
it?
perpetual motion. There's
So
no
what
such-
happens if
it's
you
impossible.
create a ringed environment with the magnets going in one way, and then you have an opposite one on the top, with it going the other way, and that creates a constant movement.
Of what? What do we do? What is moving here?
That will give you a potential motion, won't it? you have one opposing force with the other. If you hold it in place, that will keep spinning round.
Potential
won't it?
energy is very different from this. I understand potential energy very well because I studied physics. I know what potential energy does. There's no such thing as perpetual motion.
I know we have lots of technology we're not allowed access to.
Oh dear, conspiracy theory. Oops,
A theory has no facts behind it.
is that right?
Yeah.
So Newton's theory of gravitation has no facts behind it, despite the fact that all of the celestial bodies seem to obey Newton's theory. And Newton's theory explains
By the
perfectly
numbers.
why
Only
Kepler,
by numbers. Only by
Kepler,
numbers. And the
pre-Newton-
scientists, most of the scientists at the time, were laughing.
most of the scientists at the time laugh at what you're saying.
Yeah, but I don't mind them laughing.
Good.
You know?
But my point is Kepler, who
I
existed
don't- I
before
really
Newton,
don't mind.
Kepler observed the motion of the planets. And he came up with observations, which are numerical observations called Kepler's laws. They couldn't explain why they obeyed. He just knew that planets, when they go around the sun, sweep out equal area arcs in equal amounts of time. He didn't know why, but he knew that was true. He said, that's what I observed. Newton came along 100 years later, and his mathematical theorem, the universal law of gravitation, explains beautifully why that happens. Kepler's laws fall out of Newton's theory. Turned out that Newton wasn't 100% right with his theory. Newton's law has been slightly superseded, by Einstein. When I say slightly, Einstein's general relativity supplants Newton, but only at the margins. Newton's laws we still use in physics for approximations. It's a very, very, very good approximation to reality. Einstein's laws show that there's a slight deviation from that in large gravitational fields. For instance, Mercury has a path around the sun which Newton's laws don't predict. The arc precesses 27 seconds of arc every year as it goes around the sun. Newton's laws can't predict that. Einstein came up with his general theory of relativity in 1916, and he tested it by saying, what should happen to Mercury if my laws are right? And it said it should process by 27 seconds of arc every year. He said, I can see that my law is right. The other law he came up with, this law of general relativity, also predicted that light would bend in gravity. So the reason that Einstein became the most famous scientist in the world in 1919 is simple. He predicted that his gravitational field theory, his theory of gravity, which is that large bodies curve space. Since Newton, in all time, we always thought space is regular, rectangular. We didn't know it could be curved. Einstein said that large bodies curve space, and he said, you can test this. He said, if I'm right, when a distant star, when the light comes towards us, if it goes past another big star, it will bend in the gravitational field of the star. And they tested this in 1919 during a solar eclipse. Arthur Eddington, the great British astronomer, went to Mexico, photographed the stars during a solar eclipse when the light was coming past the sun, and found that it bent exactly
So
according to what
space is plasma then,
That's the plasma.
not plasma.
So where's
It's
the
effective geometry and curves in gravitational fields.
What about the missing curve on Earth, on
What's
the
the
ground
missing curve?
we're on? Where's the missing curve?
What do you mean? Because you don't. Good day, Andy. Because we
The missing
we
curve.
don't feel curves.
We don't feel curves.
That's because
We
we're
can't
very-
measure
this is a
curves.
very big
So we
ball.
can't feel it, and we can't measure it, and we can't see
We can
it.
measure it.
Oh, we can
8
measure it.
inches per square mile, right?
Well,
The
hold
fact of
on
the
a
matter
minute.
is, if I walk along 20 metres here, I can't feel the curvature, no. But the radius is enormous of the Earth, right?
But on land, we now have the technology and the computer programs now, because cyclists use them all the time. And we can measure from one end of the land to the other, and there seems to be some missing curve. We get the ups and the downs, we get the hills, the valleys, the molds, the whatever. It's all there. But one thing's missing. The extra curve is missing. It's missing. It goes from sea level to sea level without the curve that should be there.
So why is it when a ship comes across the horizon towards us, we see the top of the mast first?
Perspective. Come on, you can do that with your own eyes. You can do that with your own eyes. Put them down on the level surface, and you will see that same effect.
That's not because the Earth is curved
that's
like-
something that we've known about for hundreds of years. Hundreds of years.
My whole worldview is shaking here.
You know,
flat.
you can do it yourself with a camera and film it yourself. Go to a supermarket, a long supermarket where they've got a nice flat surface, or get on the train track and do that, and get your eyes down, and you will see that happening.
So see what happens. There's no ship coming across the horizon.
No, but you can put an object there and you can see it disappearing in the same way.
Of course, the whole object is
And the whole thing would
but then you
shift.
still-
The whole
I'm
thing
saying
would
when a
shift.
ship comes towards us,
Yeah.
we see
How
some of
come-
the ship, but not the other bit. of
How
the
come
ship.
we can
The bit
zoom
we see is
into
the
it
top
with a
bit.
camera and get it all back?
Why do we not see the left-hand side, the right-hand side of the bottom? We
I'm
only
sorry,
see the
it's,
top.
you're talking basics which have been disproved so easily with zoom cameras and you
I
can
would challenge
disprove
you. I would
it
pay
with
your
your own
£1,000 if you
eyes.
find me any proof that I can disprove.
That's all been done with just get yourself a high zoom camera or
So you think the
telescope.
sun goes around the earth? What would you say?
Of course it does.
Because that's what you see.
Well, all the experiments done to prove the movement of the Earth have failed. So,
Sorry?
you know,
All the science-
all the scientific experiments
To do what?
to prove the Earth moving have failed. Peer-reviewed experiments.
Really?
Yeah.
If I'll be here this time next week. I'd love you to show me one single peer-reviewed experiment which has shown that the Earth, the heliocentric model, which says that the Earth goes around the sun, has failed. Just find me one. You said there's lots of them. Find me one.
There's 5 of them, isn't there?
Is that right? I'm very happy to look at your peer-reviewed proof that the Earth doesn't go around the sun. You excited, happy down there?
So if the sun goes around the Earth and the Earth is flat, it must be night. It must be night everywhere and day everywhere at the same time.
Not really.
No.
Don't really know what the sun is, do we? So how do we?
Well, we don't have to know what it is. We just it's the source of light.
But yeah, it's a source of light.
Right. So when it's gone below the Earth, everywhere on the Earth has got to be dark.
Yeah.
What below the Earth?
Sorry?
If the Earth's flat,
Why does it go below the Earth?
Well, if it doesn't go below the
where
Earth,
does it
we'll
go
always
at
be
night?
able to see it if it's sort of going around.
where does it go at night?
Go around the rest of the Earth. Yeah.
Okay.
There are other countries that are in and now
In darkness.
in darkness.
That's true.
Right.
Australia, for example.
So
But if the
There
Earth
might
is
be.
flat, how
why
could
would
be
it
in
go
darkness?
under?
Well, how
What's
would it
this
be
under business?
Sorry?
Why? What's this
Well,
under?
either
You're
it-
taking ball mentality onto a flat
Okay.
plane.
Either the sun
That's
always
what-
stays
that's what
above
you
the
do.
Earth, or it goes round underneath it. If it always stays above, then we should always be able to see it, even if it's on the low.
You can't see forever. Your sight is
Why?
limited.
To stop it with a powerful
There's
telephone. You just said with
you
the zoom
can't-
lens,
you
you
can't-
can see.
you can't
you
see
just said
light
with the zoom
forever.
lens.
You can't even see light forever.
Light goes forever.
You can't see light forever.
But your eyes
Really?
can't detect it, but light is detected. No, light-
Really?
If light goes in one
That's a
direction,
new one on me. I can see forever.
light
Wow.
will go forever.
Let me see. Definitely.
In fact,
my
you
vision
don't
is
have
definitely
to. All I
blocked.
have to do is phone up somebody in every country in the world,
Yeah.
and I say, "Can you see the sun?" Some will say yes, some will say no.
So why can they see it and we can't see it? Or why can we see it and they can't see it?
We can't see forever. That's why. You know.
So
It's
so
very, very
you don't
simple.
think-
You
don't
can't
think
see
the sun is
anything
90
forever.
minutes- then-
Our vision is limited. Yeah?
is the power of
Even
the
when we
creator.
get a high-powered telescope or a high-powered camera, we can only zoom in so far. Yeah, before the atmosphere starts getting in the way,
not
things
the
start
atmosphere that's
getting
getting in the way, it's
things
this
start
resolution.
getting in the way. Yeah, we can't see forever. We simply can't see forever.
my point is the sun is 90 million
Isn't that
miles
true?
away. How far
I
away
mean,
do you
have I gone something crazy
that's-
and I can see forever? Is that why, in art we talk about perspective and everything?
is not forever.
Yeah, it's not forever away, no.
1,000 miles away.
That's 90
3,000.
million miles away.
How do you prove that? Where's the proof of that? That's made on an assumption.
Because don't forget, we're spinning
On
around
a
at 1,000
complete
miles an hour.
assumption.
He said what he said.
Yeah?
The sun have a limit.
Is zooming around the
No,
moon
you
at
don't know that one.
66.7 thousand miles an hour.
No, the rings are going around.
Can you show me an open
The
air
whole
vacuum?
galaxy is travelling about 600.
No, you can't show me an open air vacuum, but you want me to believe in a vacuum.
Vacuums are not open air. Vacuum is in
Are you
space.
spinning?
Yeah, right next to air, yeah?
Yes, exactly. And as you go up, if I go up vertically from here, the atmosphere
Right.
gets less and less dense till eventually
It
you get
needs
into
to
a
press,
vacuum.
pressure needs to press against something, doesn't it?
And it does. It presses against the earth. That's what air pressure
Yeah,
is.
up there I'm talking about.
That's- do you know
I
what-
know down here
do you
it
know what
presses
causes air
against
pressure?
this.
It's gravity.
I get this.
Gravity
I
causes
got
air
this.
pressure.
It's pressing against it.
Gas.
Just like me, I can press against it.
Air
I know.
pressure you
I know
feel.
the ground works here.
The pressure you feel
So
on
I
your
know
hand,
I can.
the air pressure you
I
feel
can build a
comes from the weight
vacuum
of the atmosphere
here.
above your hand. It's the weight of the atmosphere pressing on you. That's what we feel with our pressure. It's the weight of the atmosphere, and that's why in water we feel more pressure because water weighs more than air.
I want to see an open air vacuum before I believe that there's a vacuum next to air.
If you go 5,000 miles into the air, you can know.
It's funny because you know it's really funny because you know we've got these things called lighters, yeah, and to hold the pressure it needs to be contained, right?
Yeah, contain, yeah.
Yeah. So if there was a vacuum there, that would mean this would slowly be dwindling away and using up the gas, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So it's been held up by some mathematical
Your
function.
objection seems to be that you can't have a vacuum next to the atmosphere, right?
You can't. No, you can't. Just like you can't have a rocket working in a vacuum.
That's like saying that there's a line between the vacuum and the atmosphere. There's a straight line, right? Below that is the atmosphere, and below above that's vacuum. That's what you're saying, right? What really is happening?
Try it.
Well, I have tried it.
Try it in a
I
vacuum.
try
It doesn't work.
November the 5th. I try it every November the 5th.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
So
November
it's basically for every action,
Absolutely.
there's an equal and opposite reaction.
I was around when they went there.
Nothing to do with.
That's
So
strange.
here's the
Here's
question I like to ask.
Yeah.
Here's a question I like to ask. Obviously, on your worldview, there's a massive conspiracy about this.
Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah. Involving all of the world's airlines.
Not really.
All
No,
of the
not
world's
really.
airlines. All of the world's
Everyone
airlines have to
teaches
factor in parabolic travel. That's how you
curvature of the
calculate
Earth
fuel.
to pilot.
Because you're flying over the surface of the Earth. You're not flying in a
They
straight
just
line.
fight. They just get up. They go to their destination by flying straight level, don't they?
You probably don't know this. They charge money, and the money is apportioned to the amount of fuel they use. The amount of fuel they use, they apportion to the parabolic arc they have to take to get there. You can't just fly in a straight line to get somewhere. They fly over the curvature of the Earth, which takes extra fuel, which is factored in.
When did they
This
fly
means
over
that-
this curve?
Sorry?
When did they fly over this curve? Because I mean, I've been around the world.
Anytime they fly.
They always
across
seem
the
to
globe.
fly straight and level.
No, they're flying in a parabola.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
have to avoid
I understand when you say seam. You're sitting in a
No,
window
I
like
didn't say
this, and you're
seam.
like,
I said- I didn't
straight
say
level.
seam. I said
You're
they
not.
fly straight
No, you said
level.
seam, right?
Okay,
They don't
let me
seam,
just read-
right? If you were to look at the
rephrase the
altimeter,
point. They
you'll see
fly
that they have a
straight
radar which maintains altitude, and they follow what's called the nape of the Earth as they go around, right?
Because they don't wanna
So
hit
the
the mountain.
conspiracy necessarily, no, they're at 35,000 feet. Are you mad? So basically, the conspiracy involves every airline pretending that they're having to fly in parabolic arcs. That's your claim.
You can sit in your seat in an
Because they calculate this into their costs, right? I've worked for Boeing. I worked at Boeing 777 assembly, right? You have to calculate the amount of fuel that a 777 can carry with the parabola of the Earth to know how far to be able to go. That means Boeing's involved in it, Airbus is in on it, all of the airlines. There's a lot of people. Why are they doing this? My question is,
Like any lie, you don't need a lot of people. You only need certain people.
I'm not gonna.
For any
no,
lie.
no. It's the airlines, right? Navigation, air traffic control, all the people that calculate fuel, right? There's hundreds of thousands of people in this lie. My question is not to prove or disprove. I'm just, why are they lying?
Why?
They need to make money.
I don't know. Liars lie.
Because there's no such thing as jet fuel to start. It's compressed air.
I don't know.
All right.
I don't know why
Okay.
they're lying.
Planes
Why
fly-
do people lie? I
planes
don't
fly on
know.
compressed air.
Why do people lie? I don't know. I'm not
Yeah.
a liar. I don't know why people lie.
Yeah, all right.
I know that people lie.
That I think
I've
is the problem.
experienced people
If you
lying.
can explain.
And I still don't
You have
understand
no
why.
underlying explanation, and you think the planes fly on compressed
Yes,
air.
they do.
Yes, sure.
And engines can run on water as well as fuel. Yes, they can. They keep killing everybody. That proves it.
I worked for Boeing for 3 years. I can tell you
Well
that
done,
you have
you.
no idea what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
my father
You're
worked
just
on the
making
Concorde,
fools,
yeah.
Standing in public saying aeroplanes land on compressed air.
Yes, they
I
do.
fitted the Rolls-Royce engines on Boeing 777s.
Cool.
I fitted the fuel, oversaw the fitting of the fuel lines. I'm going to stop this because this is embarrassing. If anyone were to film you, you might have kids, you might have grandkids. Okay, fly on.
Go make some satellites.
Where are the fuel tanks on the plane? Where are they on the Concorde?
Okay, that was really intense. That was my first negative. Thank you guys for rallying around me because I definitely think he was just picking on me because I'm a woman.
He was.
So thanks very much, guys.
He was doing that pretend scientist thing.
Yes. Guys, I've seen him on when the others who've been here on previous days, I recognised him straight away.
He's a regular.
He baited me in the first place because I was a girl.
It's when you start talking about the curve on land that they get pissed
I love
off.
the first picture he
Because
shows
that
me is a
cycle
rendering
software,
of
beautiful.
what the Earth is supposed to look like, and I love Google.
Right, to be on to be on a ball, you have to have a curvature, yeah. So on land, if you go, you can even do. I think you can do this on Google actually. If on Google, if you set the pointer, say to Brighton, and then do directions up to the top of Scotland, the very top of Scotland, and then do directions, because then it will ask you what you're doing it with. Change it to cycling, and then it will tell you all the ups and all the downs.
Right, darling.
So you see top or up. Oh, this is.
I don't know, there's something going on. I think we're all right. Because they came over to see what we were doing and walked off, so I think we're all right. I think there's something going on up the other end. Right, I'm bloody freezing. I'll be going home in a minute. This has been Speaker's Corner.
You have to constantly be going down.
Thanks everyone.